on the tire.
Hi, I'm Mrhevyshevy. I drive a bunch of turbo while reading chapters from Moby Dick in the 8 Mile.
Oh, back it up. Let's do a walk around right quick.
It'll squawk a tire.
It'll squall a tire on slick concrete in the water.
That's here. Let me man the camera.
Okay. Look, this little guy likes this truck. Climb on in there.
Jump up in there, bud. Just don't put your feet on the seat.
You can do it. Go ahead.
All right, as we can tell, it's got a pretty quiet idle, as Scott Milky one pointed out a while ago.
Yeah, I didn't think it was running. I said, are you going to start it? He said, it is.
Turbos make great mufflers.
So do mufflers.
It's got BFGs, 275/60s on the back, 245/60s in the front. It's got a reupholstered seat.
Kind of a nice living quarters right there.
It's got an American flag for a headliner. It's got a custom auto sound stereo, which sounds pretty darn good. I'd prove it, but Seth will
Hey,
get
don't forget to tell me about the big ugly thing you got on the dashboard.
Oh, the big, I'm getting to that. We'd show you, but for YouTube troubles. The big ugly thing on the dashboard has got a tachometer and a boost gauge and an air fuel ratio gauge. The thing likes it a little rich. And back up in there is a "Who the heck is Mrhevyshevy" sticker. This truck's pretty nice. I know I could fix a few things like that. The wind on that side goes up and down real slow. But the seat's comfy. Here, mash the little latch, shall we?
Oh,
It's all right, bud. We're
big
not gonna,
sound right there.
we're not gonna tip you over. It's got 2 10s back there.
No room for nothing extra.
It'll rattle your kidneys just a little bit. I guess we ought to raise the hood and see what's up under there. You reckon? The carpet's a little dirty because, well, I've been driving. The shop's so big I have to walk around. And then it's got a 250 6-cylinder that somebody gave me. I pulled the head off it to put a new good or head gasket on it, and I think it was Ford 60 over if I remember right. It's got flat top pistons. Somebody spent a little money on it. Thank you, sir.
Now we can hear.
It's got a air cleaner adapter from a V6 turbo from the early 80s before they went fuel injection. This is off a part for a Volvo roller that was never installed. I didn't even cut it. The only thing I did was drill a hole in it so I could rig my breather to it. I intend to build a catch can here, but I haven't done that yet because I got to rig up my AC. I need to do that pretty soon because it's getting hot. And I'll probably have to modify all that stuff. But it's a Garrett T3 turbo. The exhaust portion is from a Grand National. The compressor side is from like a 81 Pontiac Trans Am 301.
What's the AR ratio?
Now that you asked me that, I forgot. I forgot.
It's okay, I forget all the time.
Well, when I think of it, I'll turn the camera back on and say what it is. But it's just right. Just right. It's got a cheap Chinese wastegate on it. It's making 7 pounds of boost the way it is. And it's got a 700 R4 transmission. I put HEI distributor on it. This is an older engine, I think like a 68. It had points ignition in it when I got it. I didn't do anything to the engine other than put a head gasket, I did put a new oil pump and pickup on it and just sealed it up again. We did have to pull the oil pan here the night before the race on account of the oil pan had a hole in it. We won't discuss how that happened. And what else? What else do I need to point out? Anything?
Well,
It does have a 2.4 drop.
yeah, you want that.
Oh, the cool kids say it that way.
No, they say 2-fold like you did in your
Oh,
video.
really? 2.4?
But what he's trying to say is it's a little bit lower to the ground than it used to be, but not quite enough to be cool.
Well, I don't know about that. You know, big guy, when he starts getting a little portly like me, it's a little hard to get it up off the ground.
Well, I know all about that.
So,
Well, here's an interesting thing, and you and I discussed this while you were doing your build, but you got your PCV valve hook back here, and I noticed you've got a restrictor valve on it that
it's off a paint gun is what it
appears to be pretty well closed
It's
according to
closed
the
off.
marking you got on it. And that's something that I learned on the DeSoto, that it doesn't like to have the ability to put full vacuum on the crankcase. The carburetor doesn't like it, and it's not happy that way. So on the DeSoto, it currently doesn't have a PCV hook to it, but when it did, I had to put an orifice in the line because it wouldn't run right if I didn't.
It'll run okay if you crack it a little bit, but it makes it a little too lean. And it likes it rich. I've got that carburetor richer than the one on the Pontiac 400 in my Firebird or the one on the big block in my truck. It's as rich as I can get it, and it's still like a little more.
So boosted engines, especially on a draw through like that, are kind of finicky. And just this evening we were discussing that sometimes when you tip in very light load, very low RPM,
It'll go lean.
If you tip in, it'll like to go lean, and my truck does the exact same thing. And I think it's just that's my personal opinion, but I think it's just the system. It takes time for that carburetor to react from what the engine's doing. You crack the throttle blades, it gets the air, but it doesn't make it all the way through the engine and complete the system until there's a slight lag and it goes lean for a second. And
Now this thing,
it's a characteristic of why fuel injection was such a game changer with turbos, because even if you get it as good as it can be, a draw through is not an optimized system. So in '86, when they came out with the fuel injection on the Grand National, it really was a game changer. It changed everything. It made something that was cantankerous and not terribly drivable into something that was fantastic. And
now there's advantages to this.
There are.
One is you don't really need to run an intercooler.
in fact,
Because
you
when
can't run it in.
When it's, well, yeah, that's true. But when it's running, it's cold right there. It'll sweat. In fact, in colder climates, you can see it's got this fitting right here where it was supposed to run antifreeze through it, keep it warm. And
So they've been known to freeze the throttle blades, as I understand it, from the readings I've done.
Which
And
would
that's why they did that. They put coolant through it to keep it warm.
which would
so
be
it
bad
wouldn't-
news in the event of wide open throttle. That reminds me of a story at a Camaro, but we'll tell that another time.
Yeah, I remember that story.
But the moral of that story is when you put your electric fans in, don't wire them to the hot. It'll power it when they're slowing down. It'll keep the ignition powered up.
Yeah, bad idea.
We got sidetracked there.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. All right, so getting back to your truck, do you want to go ahead and put this up on the left?
Yeah, let's-
I want to see what size muffler you got on this thing that pushes it up to where it sounds like, well, it doesn't sound like anything.
It's quiet. It's a Flowmaster is what it is.
Why don't you, Tommy, you want to pull it up? No, I'll pull it.
Go ahead. All right, he drives it for the first time. It really is a quiet little guy, ain't it? What'd you say about the steering wheel?
I said it's not a fat guy steering wheel.
No, it's got the old big one in it.
Come on, you got to get out. You going up? You going right up? Last time you didn't like to ride up.
Right here's a little rubber on the quarter panel. where I did a burnout or two with it. Yeah, that's right. Burnout. One of the burnouts was when I hooked to that van in the driveway and it wouldn't tote it, but it would light the tire up. You know, once it gets under boost, it'll sit there and spin pretty good. Reminds me of that Chevette diesel I had. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Well, if you ever got that thing to turn the tire, it'd keep on. As long as you was turned hard right or left. Dude, what? 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 Ain't nothing better than a set of keys, is there? It's up now. All right, let's have a look at what happened under here.
Where's my light?
I put a sway bar on it off a C20, an 85 C20 that came with that camper top up there on the back, which by the way is not because of farm truck. It's because I want it.
Still trying to figure out what it's for.
I've never even watched that shit.
I see new springs, see new brake lines, see new calipers.
That's right. You gotta watch it when you set it down. This here spring will get cocked sideways.
Oh, it certainly will.
And it'll
Look at it.
and it'll
It's
set
not
this
attached to nothing.
set this side up
Hey,
high.
there's this one.
Yep, that's the way it is.
Imagine that. I also see new shocks.
Yep, new shocks.
Hey, look at the patch in the oil pan.
We patched the oil pan, didn't even paint it.
That's right. Gives it character.
That's pitiful, ain't it?
I see the drain tube on your turbo over here. That's another fine weld job. Come around where you can see that. No, back away. Well, there you go. So, pretty tidy under here, pretty tidy. That's a grungy 700 R4.
700 R4. My cousin rebuilt it, but since he done it so cheap, he said he didn't have time to
What's the deal here?
clean it up real good. I don't know.
Is that for a leaky?
No,
Or is that just you had some on your rag when you
That's
pushed
probably
it under
from
there?
that's probably from when we slid the oil pan up under there.
Oh, that could be.
I bet you that's what that is.
So you got your what? That's a 2, maybe a 2 1/4 exhaust, all the way back.
Yep.
All,
In true
all the way back.
true Mrhevyshevy fashion, I just use old pipes and weld them together with the bends. You can see how many welds is there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a band clamp, stainless steel, handy things. 5, 6, 7 welds before we get to this muffler I got somewhere. Now that's some pretty ugly welding. I ain't sure who did that.
Mrhevyshevy did that.
Oh, did I? And
Well, hey, we all do ugly welding sometimes.
that's all right.
Oh, I've unplugged my cord again.
I'm about to trip over my shoelaces.
See,
Yep.
oh, no posi.
No posi.
No posi. There's
Well,
some
it
more
is.
welds on your exhaust. You forgot these. 1, 2, 3, 4 more right there.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Those
It's got
welds.
that.
got
Those are
this-
like 1 3/4 tailpipes.
Those are factory.
factory.
And that's, I'm gonna leave it like that because I like it. It's factory.
I detect a new wheel cylinder here.
Yep. I did put in all new brakes, new wheel cylinders, new calipers. Did I put new calipers?
Yeah.
Yeah, new calipers.
Air shocks.
Brake hoses, I didn't put the back one on. I put air shocks on it.
You do. You got 5 leaf springs.
Yeah, I got more springs than you do. I guess that's why it hooked so good.
Do you think it was that?
That's my theory.
That's your theory. There.
Yep. 2 balls, 1 7/8. And
Well, you have to have 2 balls in that. The small trailer would be the 1 7/8. That'd be the one off to the side because it doesn't matter. It's
That's
not
right.
wider than the truck. You're just going to the dump.
that's right.
You need a trailer because you can't put none in the back because there's an ugly cap on it.
That's right. Kind of put a hurting on my tire here with all the burnouts.
You did. I think you shortened the life of it.
But I guess.
Well, did you do anything to my floor? Look what you did to my floor.
Oh, God. Gosh. So anyway, you can see this truck is not rusty.
No, not rusty.
This is a pretty nice truck.
Oh, look, you can see the two-fold drop pretty good too.
Yep.
Looky right there.
That's kind of a pain to put in, I'll tell you, but I done it.
All right.
All right, well, that's about the size of that. Let's make sure our springs are centered up before we set it back down. Really could use new bushings over here on the sway bar, but
Yep.
I guess it'll be all right. All right for now. Thing handles good now. It rides a little choppy if you get on a real bumpy road. Here's the measurements for when I did the alignment. What size sway bar is it?
1.25 inches.
1.25 inches.
That's a big one.
That's what, yeah. So to summarize, I like this truck. This is a good driver.
Not a bad truck.
It drives just as sweet and comfy. It's got a nice stereo. If you look up, you feel patriotic.
The fenders are wrong color.
Fender's the wrong color, but that's due to another thing I can't speak about. Doors dented.
Oh, it is.
That was that way when I got it, though. Can't blame that on anybody but the person who had it before me.
Not a bad truck all in all.
No, let's set her down. Yep.
No.
Yep.
This.
What?
This.
What?
He got his yellow shorts all dirty.
What happened?
He been rubbing up on that oil paint over yonder.
This reminds me of another song. I think Aerosmith. Going down? I don't know what all that racket was. Hey, one thing we forgot to point out in the review is it's got air horns on it. It says right there, too loud, too bad. Some stuff I need to still do is I need to tune it. I need to get the timing right. I need to get the air condition on it.
Put your shoes on.
Hey, there's no crying on Mrhevy's channel. We cry offline. All the time. Alright, so some things I still need to do to it is I need to get the timing right. I've got the timing pretty conservative. It's at 30 total, which is pretty conservative, I think. It doesn't have any sign of detonation at 7 pounds boost. I did one time at the track pull the vacuum line off and it went to 15 pounds.
And you said Detonation City.
Detonation City, so
That's how you break stuff. Don't do it.
so we're not gonna do that no more. I think would go 10, but I think I'm just gonna leave it at 7. It's a really nice. I mean, I went up the interstate 70 miles an hour at 1700 RPM. It's just barely in and out of boost. You go up a hill, the boost creeps up. The air fuel's right around 14, 15 at times. The thing's got 308 gears, I think.
Mine's got 308 gears. Not conducive for drag racing, by the way.
No, but it sure is a good driver. So other than the AC, the catch can, getting the time in, probably a little jetting still, I'm going to leave it alone. It's a driver, and it drives good. I do want to change the hood, because this one's kind of crusty. I think the culprit was mice peeing.
What it looks like.
And
That's the only place it's crusty?
it's all over the place.
That's a shame.
It really is. But this boy can't stay away from some keys. What are they?
This.
Keys. Yeah. They're keys to freedom, son.
Ha!
Freedom. Freedom. Alright, I guess that's all I got to say about that.